Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of the Badger Call. My guest today is Jim Fowler, former second team captain. We'll get to know Jim a little bit. Recently married, now coming up to 1 year, nearly now, isn't it?
Yeah, getting there, getting close.
Young son, a few months old now.
Let's see, eight and a half weeks. So yeah, it's kind of lots changed in the last year. Moved house as well, just to kind of top it all off.
You've got nothing else to do now, have you?
Apparently, looking after kids is harder work than I thought, so I'm still pretty busy. But yeah,
already got a dog. So.
Already got a dog. Yeah, he's a nightmare. Yeah. He still runs off. So
yeah, he's a good one down at cricket.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if we ever get down there this year to see how he gets on with Joe and Roxy's dog, because the two of them could just disappear for like weeks at a time.
Yeah, they'll be in the river, won't they?
Yeah, just they'll go and you'll see them about 6 hours later.
I say we've all got young kids as well now, so the future of Belfast Meadows is sorted with 3 or 4 players.
I've got to say the 2030 team or 2035 team must be looking pretty strong.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean I'm training. I was going to train Rory to be a wicket keeper, but I had him bowling bouncers yesterday, and he was laughing. So he's got that horrible. He's got a horrible streak about him. So I'm gonna make him a quick bowler.
Well, I'm hoping William will be the same, to be honest. Rather than being like 6 foot ridiculous like I am and bowling off spin, if you can actually use that height,
don't do that.
handy.
Have you seen that video on YouTube? It's the Australian people who do it. And he turns up and he's like 6'5", and he goes, "Oh, thank God, I need a quick ball." He's like, "Nah, off spin."
I genuinely, if you speak to Brookie, I first turned up at Meadows training like 8 years ago, whatever it was now, and introduced myself. He goes, "Oh, what do you do?" I said, "I open." And his face lit up. He's like, "Yeah, finally got an opening bowler. There'll be Joe in the DK. I went, "No, the batting. I'm not that good." He's like, "Oh, well, welcome anyway."
It's when it opens the bowling with that first week and you just run in and like float them up.
Yeah, come off 20 paces just because I think I've got to.
We'll get on to like your starting Meadows career, but how long have you been playing cricket for? Did you start early as a junior?
I never played quicks. I kind of got into cricket. I lived near a cricket ground, so kind of eventually joined junior team there, but like playing hardball when I was about 12. But within a year, in fact, it must have been 11 because at 12 I was playing adult cricket. So I think last year was my 20th season of adult cricket, which is just bonkers. It doesn't feel like
you're younger than me, aren't you? So
yeah,
this would have been my 21st season.
Jeez, yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, technically it's about 16 because I've missed about half a load of seasons through injury. But
yeah, thanks for that last year, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to introduce you as last year's second team captain.
only on Saturday.
I think I've just had a board of selectors. So that's what my job was.
And dealing with all the off the field nonsense that the rest of us didn't want to deal with.
Yeah. So, junior cricket, did you play for the same team?
So, I started at Earl Shilton, which is kind of where I lived. Played a couple of years there, but you played even at like 12, 13. You were playing 13s, 15s, and 17s. And to be fair, we had a fairly decent side. Like a couple of the lads have played Prem in Leicester since we were 15, just like consistently and scored millions of runs, all that kind of thing. But I wasn't getting anywhere near the adult teams. And one of my dad's mates played cricket at Enderby and said, "Come over here, we've got a junior setup," and all that kind of thing. And literally, I played, I think, the first junior game on the Wednesday and was in the second team on the Saturday. Needed the fielder and just kind of went from there.
Yeah. You're very tall now. Were you big for your age?
Oh, yeah. So when I don't think I've ever worn a helmet in an adult game. So even at 13, because people weren't as strict and because I looked like I was about 22 and never got questions, I just never, ever did it. And when I was younger, if someone's a bit quick, it didn't matter too much because I could react. I mean, now it probably just hit me. But when I did face someone with a bit of pace, it was fine.
Because I was with a similar age, that you'd remember that the year that they brought the helmet rule in, that the under 18s had to wear a helmet. And that was the year I was 18. So I had to wear a helmet for about 2 months. And then, because my birthday's in August, so it was like, my birthday was on like the Monday, and then Saturday I'm like, no, I'm not wearing a helmet again. That was the last time I ever wore a helmet.
I don't know if we've got it still, but I did for years. I kept it, never wore it, and like if you lift it up now compared to one of the modern ones, it's like putting a brick on your head. It was ridiculous. Like, I don't know how kids ever used to wear them when they were like that.
Yeah, I mean, at least you could keep your head still. You told you to keep your head still, but you couldn't move it.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Or every so often it just jerked to the side because your neck got tired.
Who got you into cricket?
I can't really remember. It's one of those things like my granddad used to throw tennis ball at me, and I had this like ridiculous like Colin Cowdrey cricket bat that was held together with like duct tape, and so I think mainly linseed oil and varnish rather than wood. It was that kind of old.
Yeah.
But like Fridays after school, we go to theirs, and just like the pathway down the side of the house was basically perfect for him throwing the ball and me hitting it. So I did that for years.
Was that your first bat then? Would you class that as your first bat or?
No, because I never played with that. That's when I was like 7 or 8, so I was pretty young then. No, the first bat I had was a Slazenger V6 or V4 or something crazy, with the cloth cover on it to cover up the fact that it wasn't actually wood underneath. I think the painting these days, they were that bad. But
and that's what me and Chris both had readers, and they were cloth covered on the front. And you think you think they're absolutely incredible, then you go out and you hit it and it breaks your hand.
Yeah, I got like rather than a kid bowl, an adult bowl. I mean, the inside edge ends up a square leg, just split in two halfway through a game. So
yeah, I think mine was similar. I adored it. I absolutely loved the bat. It was the best looking bat ever. Like the readers, I think it was a Reader's Victor, and it looked incredible. Like the design of it, it was all blue, but then it was rubbish.
Well, it's because you're young as well. Like I probably looked after that bat better than I have anyone that I've had since. Even though it's probably like a 30 quid like Sports Direct or JJB or whatever had been at the time special. But you thought that was amazing because it was your first bat. You look back now and it's like it was literally a plank of wood that they put a handle on. That was it.
Yeah, mine was Lily White in Nottingham. I got mine from.
Okay.
My stepdad got he got a Gun and More. No, it was a Hero. He got whatever Michael Vaughan was using at the time. He got that one, and I got this little 25 quid Reader's bat. Walked out thinking I got the better bat, and he spent like 150 quid on this.
I tell you what I remember more, because of my ridiculous clown feet. I used to play in trainers when I first started playing.
Yeah.
And the first pair of spikes I ever had to be like specially made because you couldn't get a size 13. Well, not easily. So I had this pair of Pony. I think they've gone bust now, but Pony spikes.
Pony were good.
Yeah. But it had this whacking great tongue on the top that kind of came halfway down to your toes.
Yeah.
Utterly ridiculous if you look back now, but proper like 80s kind of style, even though this would be late 90s. But I've done for years.
Yeah. This year was like the first year I'd properly invested in spikes. I'd always bought like cheap ones, like cheap Grey Nix ones.
Yeah.
And then I brought some the Adidas ones. And you don't realise how good they are till unless you've worn like the rubbish ones before.
Well, I went from them to a pair of Adidas that I reckon I glued back together 3 times because I liked them that much and couldn't get another pair that fit. So every couple of seasons I had to glue the soles back on, but they were incredible.
I had some of Jamie's old ones once. He wasn't using them. I can't remember where. I think we played an away game, and he gave like lent me these spikes, and I just kept them for like a year after that.
Fair enough.
So other than cricket, are you obviously Man United fan?
Yeah, United fan. I mean, as a kid, I wouldn't think it to me now that I'm putting about 18 stone in pizza, but I used to play football, basketball, hockey, badminton, cricket. Rugby. I played everything. Wasn't overly amazing at any of them, but I played like. Was
cricket your first sport? Was it like if you had gone back now, would you choose to have a longer career in cricket or another sport? Obviously, we love cricket, but were you better?
I mean, I was county level at badminton, but I didn't actually enjoy it that much. So I was really good at it, but it was like 4 hours, 6 hours training on Saturday. And once I got to play adult cricket, I made the choice I'd rather go and do a team sport and have a laugh because I was never going to make a career of any of them. It was always just for enjoyment. So
that's the beauty of cricket. Cricket's big redeeming factor is it's a summer sport and you can have a beer. There's not many sports where you can do that. Like where you can just sit and watch in the summer.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the thing is as well that not every club's like this, but a lot of clubs, when you come in as a junior, particularly like to a team full of older lads, they'll treat you like an adult as well, which is different because you don't really play like adult football or anything when you're a kid. Most cricket you do, and you just suddenly feel so much more grown up because you're playing with adults. It's weird.
Yeah.
Also means you can have a beer at like 14 as well, which is always good.
Yeah, well, you could.
You can't anymore. You could.
I looked about 10 when I was 14, so I struggled to do that. So moving on to your Beltham Meadows career. Obviously, I think I first played against you in 2013. It would have been.
Yeah.
Roughly. When did you join Meadows?
So I joined Meadows in 2013. I'd moved to Belper kind of the summer before in 2012, but because I don't like people that move clubs halfway through the season, I ended up going back down to Leicester to finish off the season with the lads that I played with down there. And then kind of ended the season, I was like, I can't keep doing this. I can't do 100 miles for a home game kind of thing. So my round trip for a home game. I don't get how Coops does it coming down from Sheffield, to be honest. I know it's not quite as far, but still that's commitment to the next level to kind of do that. So just kind of Googled the following kind of March time. Had like a winter off, I didn't do anything. And saw Duffield, obviously Meadows and amateurs. Looked at amateurs was and went, no, that's a few miles away. Thought about Duffield. I live in Belper. Literally at the time I was living next to Morrison, so it's like a 5-minute walk down to the ground. So kind of came down for training one night, turned up, and I don't know, I must have been away or something. So it was into the season. I've turned up on a Tuesday night. There's a game going on. I'm watching it as I'm walking through the car. I'm like, these lads look pretty quick. This looks pretty serious. It was Derbyshire twos against Lancashire twos, I think. And actually, all the Meadows lads were down by the net, so I went and kind of introduced myself over there. Realised what was going on when I saw like names on the back of the shirts. I was like, this isn't just club cricket. This is something a bit kind of next level. But obviously, that was the year that they went down to 2 teams. So that's the year like that winter dropped the first team out of 3 or whatever that they were in at the time.
And who was second team captain at the time? Did you come in? Did you come in the second team, or did you come in the first team? Like when you I
kind of came in that first season. It was kind of between the two. Because obviously ones were in Div 6 with Brookie as captain, and then Phil Hudson was captain of the twos in Div 8.
Yeah.
And between those two, there's not really much of a gap. I think the first team back then, you probably had what Slats, Brookie, Dutch, Jonesy, DK. I think James Cox was around a bit. Mike Cox played occasionally. So they had kind of a core. I mean, George Hudson was keeping wicket for the first team that year, I think. Yeah. But the core of about 6 or 7 that. I mean, the first 4 or 5 games mentioned were far too good for Division 6. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, Chris mentioned that when he came in year after.
So there were a few kind of gaps in the team. So I kind of probably played almost half the season in each. But I obviously found the twos a lot easier. But first game for the ones, I think bowled Clay Cross out for 30. And all I really did was drink a lot of beer afterwards. Then missed a week or something. Played for the twos, got some runs, and the first time back to the ones, I think got 2-ball duck. So played a few games. Like I've kind of every season, kind of helped out in the ones that kind of started opening for the twos and kind of settled there. Really. I got about 700 runs that year or something because we're playing Saturdays and Sundays as well. But definitely 400 or 500 in the league, which wasn't bad.
Yeah, because I think you got some runs against Meadows, didn't you? Or I think you and Mitch used to.
We used to love playing against that league, and that was great fun.
Yeah, everyone did. Like everyone mentions that Mitch Robinson winning innings. I just wish they forget about it now. I was glad I didn't bowl that day. I was keeping that day.
Well, the thing that annoys me about that is I actually hit the winning runs that day, but no one remembers that because Mitch was hitting over the church the rest of the time, and I like inside edge marking all sorts before or something ridiculous.
That's impressive.
I think I was supposed to sweep and it just went horribly wrong. But there's been over the years. There's been some good games. Like there was once on Meadows, I think you bowled us out for 90 or something like that, and then this was when I was captain and we won. And I think Coops got 5, but I opened with him from the wrong end, and he just got really annoyed. But White bowled his leg spin from Cooper's end and did all right.
I played that day, and that was probably one of the best I've ever kept. Because it was quite a difficult track that day.
Yeah, it wasn't one of the better ones.
The Mitch was struggling at keeping as well that day, and he made keeping look easy at that level. Yeah. And I remember that day. It was about 95, and we were about 80 all out. So I got over 30, and I got over because I put Harry Trent into Thornton's.
Yes, you did. Just kind of stood there and just went.
Yeah, it went.
Might be in trouble then.
It went massive with that one. And I think I got out next ball, trying to hit it even bigger. I can't remember who caught it, but he was a decent grab. I remember Coops that day, and Coops couldn't have been playing cricket long then. That could only been his.
I think he started the year before me, so it'd have been like maybe third season.
And he was bowling. He was in the second spell.
He came back from the proper end and took 5.
He bowled a couple at me, and when someone bowls you a Yorker and it's gone through, and you're just waiting for the sound of wood.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they were missing. I think they're just they were just swinging too much.
Yeah, possibly. I mean,
that was a monumental collapse. That was.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about collapses later on. That's one of the things I've got on my list. But I mean, all the games against Little League, in the game where you only had 7 or 8 players, but Bod and someone else got 80 on each, and you got about.
Yeah, we'd have won that game. I had to bowl, didn't I?
Yeah,
I had to bowl and keep.
You opened the bowl and then kept, and you were bowling your little Induckers at me. I was just blocking them, but you didn't have enough fielders to have mid-on, so it was kind of 4 if I got that.
Because Martin Alsop was obsessed with he had to field in gully.
Yeah.
And Tom Hudson, he must have got nearly 50 that day, just edging me through first slip. I bowled really well that day. I bet
And that's when Howis at the end got about 40 because we messed it up, we lost, and then Howis went and just smashed 40 from nowhere.
Yeah. Howis and Brammers.
Yeah. And then Steve Gadsby, I think, won that out at the end.
Yeah, it was quite a big partnership. They were, yeah. I mean,
it's a shame that Eton isn't going anymore, even just for the ground being used, really, because we even played 2020 games down there against other teams that were decent games, like Allenstreet, where we've got 80 off 6 overs, which was crazy.
It's one of those. Little Eton's one of those grounds that in the summer, like on a hot day, it's one of the nicest grounds in the league. Like, and then on a cold day, it's a bit miserable. And like, it was a beautiful ground to play on. When like Bod and Jamie and me were doing the track, it was in like mid 2000s to about 2012. The wicket was beautiful. It was an absolute paradise to play on. Like offered a bit to the batsmen, offered a bit to the bowlers, and then obviously we dropped down to one team, and we didn't have much money to do the pitch.
Yeah, it's always difficult, especially when you lose a team. If you're a one club or one team club, it must be hard because you've got to rely on 11 lads because you're not going to get that movement of players.
Well, it's from games like when we played against Meadows. Was the reason why I joined Meadows. Is like when we played down the ground, and I think it was after the game where we played with 8 players, and we're like, we're not going to finish this season. I was chatting with you, and I was chatting with Nobby, with Bod and
that's what we're trying to sign. Bod desperately needed the spinner in the ones, but he wouldn't leave Little Eton. I mean, he said like God knows how many times how it's going to come, but he wouldn't leave Little Eton until they were done. Me
and Bod had a chat after that, and I think that game was. I think it was mid-July. I think it was getting towards it was getting towards the transfer window, like the last couple of weekends. And me and Bob both made a decision like we either see this season out with Little Eton and go at the end of the season, or we go now and basically the club folds mid-season. And the whole club had a meeting. I think it was the week after the Meadows game. Do we just jack it in now? Because that's the statistics. We should have won that game. If we had 11 players that day, we probably would have won that game.
You would? Yeah.
And it got to that point, and we were like, well, we either go now or we may as well see the season out. And I think we ended up playing about 4 games after that. We conceded a load. the transfer deadline went on like the 31st of July, and then that weekend after that we conceded the game. I'm like, well, what have we done here? Like, we're actually going to play cricket again this year. Because I ended up coming to watch the Meadows for the rest of the season. For the rest of the season, like,
yeah, I remember that you started kind of turning up at the game. Well, you was mainly watching the first team, I think, from memory. But there's a few times that we got pulled out for about 12. So
when they won up at Langley Mill to win the league, they obviously won quite early on there. They bowled Langley Mill out for not many and knocked it off very quickly. And I came down and watched the seconds straight afterwards, and I'm like, but I think it was a big reason. A big reason was like, you lot seemed like a decent bunch of lads. There was a bit of a horrible division that year. There's quite a few teams were just full of dickheads.
But, yeah, there's still is that league's not changed that much.
Yeah, and I'm saying that Nobby was one of the reasons. It was one of the good people in the league that year. We showed the level of the level of people in that division. But yeah, I'm glad I joined Meadows. Going on to your Meadows career, you've obviously been captain of the second team for a few years, for most of last year as well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Captaincy's a weird one. I was watching the Call You to Cheech earlier, and me and Chris took over as captains at the same time. So Brookie sat down for the one, and Phil from the twos. And a lot of the stuff that Cheech did is kind of stood the club down. So it was make sure that you turn up in your training kit and make sure you're doing this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time it only kind of worked because we tried to force it all the way through the club. And I think what we lost sight of at some point in the next kind of few years was the fact that that's what had made us a club again. Yeah. So it was good kind of last year to kind of see that coming back.
Yeah, and I think especially with the juniors as well, wearing it when you turn up on a Tuesday night or Thursday night. And you walk around town now, and you see, and you can spot the Alachi sign when someone's walking away, right, when they're wearing the train tops, and like, I've been up to like Carsington a few times, and you can see it. You can see them in the distance. You can see the shirt in the distance.
I think the thing is, people wear them all the time as well. It's not like they've turned into things that you just wear on a Saturday. Like, it's out of season, all the time you see people wearing them.
Yeah, definitely. We just need Calangari's train one day.
Oh yeah, that's class. That is. If you can get some of those made.
I'm going to mention that in every single video. How beautiful that kit is. Even now, especially now it's changed it to the round collar.
Yeah, the round collar. Yeah.
Big fan. If we do get anybody watching who fancies making it for us, go ahead.
Like I say, we should start name dropping people. I think like Grey Nick's obviously trying to get to the back to Nick, so we should tap them up maybe.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've got Missouri NXT Sport to make our kits for us if they ever feel like watching.
They did a decent job with the long sleeve training shirts, so they're class.
Yeah, they're really nice. But basically, you just need that training top, but with
with the design on.
With the design on it. The material of that gives really nice feel.
Yeah, but maybe I'm sure NXT Sport could do it, but maybe get someone other than J-Ray to speak to him because it takes J-Ray a year to do anything. So.
Yeah, I think he missed the pop I added to him in the group chat when he said, "Yeah, we're ready for next season." He's like, "Oh no, I think they got people working at the moment." No, I mean you. So we had that group chat. We had the group chat about long sleeve training tops about 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
I was really wanting one of them. But yeah, on Meadows. We've had some successful times. With them, a couple of promotions in the second team.
I mean, other than 2018 was just like a nightmare. Yeah, for the first, second, that was just terrible. Yeah. Like, I was looking earlier. We got bowled out for 100 or less about 8 times that season. It was just horrible. But we were bizarrely, like my first couple of years when it was a league and then the 50 over cup, and then even when it went to 2020, I think we did, not that we won any, but we did 3 cup finals in 4 seasons or something crazy.
Yeah.
And we never really took the cup seriously. It's just one of those things we turn up because we had to do it to keep the first team.
Any club really takes it seriously unless they win the first. If they win the first game, they start taking it seriously. No one takes the first round seriously, which is why you got a chance of going through because the other team's not taking it seriously either.
I mean, there's some good games that we played when Burton, they'd done something similar to us and dropped down a load of leagues and lost players. And
but they didn't lose any players. They only lost about 2 players, didn't they?
They lost 2, and then they had the team that was ridiculous. And we got to the 2020 final against them, and at the time the cup final, I think they were smashing the South Division, and we were second or third, I think, in the North. And to be fair, I probably messed up that day with batting order and things like that, but kind of went a little bit on how we'd done previously. So Tomo had scored, I think, 40 and 50 in the 2 rounds before and things like that, so kept the order as it was. And obviously their players just a little bit too good. Jamie North ran someone out with a direct hit from the boundary, and as well as we fielded that day. And Tom Hunt took an absolute blinder of a catch. Tom Hudson took a decent one. Like, it's the best I've ever seen a second team field that day. It was incredible.
Yeah.
But it still ended up 20 runs short. But yeah, that kind of told some of us, I think, because you saw Burton and they get 300 every week. And actually, we kind of matched them, and that gave a lot of people a little bit of belief that we were perhaps better than we thought we were at times.
Yeah. Like, even now, like, even last season was a prime example of the second team. Like, we were coasting the division up until July.
Well, apart from 2018, I think at the end of July, we've been top 4 every season I've played, if not, like, definitely in the top 4 in the promotion hunt. And then I don't know if it's holidays, I don't know if people get sunstroke or that they're just allergic to August, but August kills us.
I mean, last year it wasn't really a selection problem, it was people just not scoring runs.
I mean, I'll get onto it later when my things I want to put in the bin, because I've got second team collapses on that list that needs to be binned off. But yeah, it's whatever it is, August, we just go to bits, like pretty much every season. Like, we finished the year we came up from 8, we finished second, but we're top most of the season. Kurt Langley, I think, we're fighting with, and managed to lose to them, which cost us the league, and then lost to them in the cup final the next day. That was interesting. And like literally getting 2 runs on the last ball in the league game, it was bonkers. And then we came up third, missing out on automatic promotion by 2 points. And kind of when they reached the leads, we came up from 7 to 6. But we were miles clear then. Even last season, when we went to Darley Dale that was in August, I think, or very end of July.
That started it. That was.
I don't think we won a game after that, or maybe one. But you see that day the risk is if one of the top 3 go, and we didn't have the strongest team out that day, in fairness. But I think Callum and I shouldn't have got out when I did, but Callum and I got 80 or 90 out of the 100 we needed between us, and the other 9 lads couldn't get us over the line. There's so many examples of that over the years. I know it affects the first team as well, the batting collapse. So, like, the 2's can be a house of cards at times. It's so frustrating.
Yeah. We'll discuss that in the thing in length in a bit. So, would you say your favourite Meadows moment's been?
There's a few. As I mentioned, the cup final against Burton, I can't talk about that without mentioning the fact that JP thought he was man of the match on the losing side and stepped forward to collect his award, and then someone else's name was called out. That was a highlight. He still denies it, but everyone saw him.
That's brilliant.
In fairness, the guy had the same bowling figures as JP, so I can see why he thought it might be him, but they'd won, so it's never going to be a Meadows player.
Yeah.
There was a game when us and the Ones both used to play Ashover, kind of at top of the table kind of stuff. We beat their 2s down at Meadows quite quickly. Like, we'd done before tea. I think bowled them out cheaply, knocked them off in about 20 overs. Mitch must have gone crazy like normal. Yeah. And pretty much en masse, we just drove up to Ashover to support the first team. So that was pretty cool. That literally locked Meadows up and just everyone drove up to Ashover.
Is that when
Pidge
has been searching for the points since then?
And then, yeah, we came back and Pidge was looking for the points that they lost. That was that day.
Rumour has it he's still looking
for them. Probably. It's still
it's not a rumour. He's still looking for them.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some personal things like scoring runs and stuff, but generally it's been more the team things and like the nights after promotion, and I can't remember what year it was, but singing on the square with Big Steve and then everyone running off into the wheat field. That was pretty memorable. So it's a lot of stuff like that that's kind of more the social / family feel to it as much as the actual on the pitch stuff. Just one kind of leads to the other.
Yeah, oh, yeah, definitely, especially like league title victories or league promotions. Because it's not a long season, but it feels it in the end. Like when you get down to the last couple of games, it always feels like it's been a long season, and it ages you.
Yeah, I think the thing is as well, like you spend so much time with the same kind of 10, 11 guys like, every Saturday, and then you got training during the week, and you go like so you spend an awful lot of time together, and by that back end, if you're not focused, you're not committed to what you're doing, it can easily fall apart. But when it works, and when you go up, I mean, I wasn't at Clown, obviously I was playing, but like the the guys who were at Clown last year with the ones, that's just incredible to have that kind of match, that kind of result, as particularly with it being Clown as well, everything that's kind of happened with them over the years. But yeah, it kind of makes it all worthwhile giving them all that time is when you get those kind of moments.
Yeah, I mean, like during like my Meadows career, like obviously I've missed probably a season's worth in the 3 seasons that I've played, but like the Nutbrook game away last year, second game of the season, I've not enjoyed a victory like that for a long time. Like,
I mean, we should never have been anywhere near winning that game.
Yeah, we struggled up to 130, 140, and they were coasting it. They were absolutely coasting it. And I didn't even do a lot that day. I don't like as an individual. I think I faced the last 3 or 4 balls of the innings. Didn't do like no catches came my way. I had that stumping turned down, which was miles out. But yeah, especially as a captain that day, like you can feel like you've properly earned victories at times.
Yeah, I mean, and it's normally those low scoring games. Like I mentioned, the one against Leeton where it's below 100, but over the years we've won kind of 4 or 5 games like that where you've got no right to win, and you're at tea, particularly because it's always when we bat first. We never have tight run chases. We either get bowled out or we cruise it. But because we're a bowling side, and it's always been a bowling side, the second team pretty much since I joined the club, you never feel like you're out of the game. I mean, okay, maybe when we got bowled out for 20 odd or something, you're not going to win it. But there's been games of 60, 70, 80 where...
Ilkeston Rutland, where was it 40, 42?
Ilkeston Rutland... No, I think that was 35. Mary rolled us for 23. Hina rolled us for 40, where we played on a Sunday and we'd won on the Saturday. I'd gone out and got drunk. Pidge was there, funnily enough. And we turned up thinking we were going to get 300 and got bowled out for 40. And we went and ended up watching most of the Sunday team game at Wirksworth on the way home because they were still on the Sunday afternoon.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of good times at Meadows, obviously. And we're looking like we were building towards another good season this year. Steve coming in as captain would have helped.
We're lucky that everyone's in a similar kind of, particularly the first team, but also for the twos, you've got a fairly good mix now. You've got a couple of older heads, not necessarily more sensible, but older heads. You've got kind of me and you that are on the older end of the scale for the second team most of the time. But then you've got the juniors who are about the right age coming through now, that they're all kind of 15, 16, so that they're in the team legitimate, not there making the numbers up.
I think Tom would have had a really good season this year.
Yeah.
The way he bowled at Merhay last game of the year last year, and he was making their opening batsman look ordinary when he came on.
Yeah. It was one of the first games. I think it was Spondon away where it was the first time I think he'd been in the team. I think probably the first time I'd seen him bowl, in fairness, because last year with wedding plans and stuff, I wasn't like watching the juniors anywhere near as much as I used to. And gave him a few overs at the end once the game had gone, and thinking he'll get 6, 8 balls, something like that. He bowled like 3 overs and kept it tight. I was like, oh, this kid might have something. Next game, I can't remember who we were playing, but it was at Meadows. And after an over, he'd had 4 chances for the slip cord. And we had 3 slips in a gully for him, which none of us could catch.
Yeah.
So he's definitely got something about him.
I'll do teaser.
And he'll only get bigger and stronger as well.
Yeah.
It was,
And like, just hopefully, like, I mean, he loves cricket. He'll carry on playing. It's just a shame that they're going to miss like a bulk of a year to learn their trade. Everyone's in the same boat, but like I say, Steve coming in, I mean, just add a bit of street smart to the team. Steve's been around for a long time. Yeah, it was disappointing.
Yeah, I think that's
the third team would have had a decent team as well.
Yeah, I think with the street smart stuff, since Phil Hudson stopped playing, so kind of when I took over as captain, there's not really been anyone in the twos like for a prolonged period. Like Brookie's been in and out, and Brammers had played a lot of cricket and stuff, but there's not really been many people that know how to not lose a game.
Yeah,
and that's probably cost us a little bit over the years. If you look at historically, when Phil was captain, there were games where we draw, whereas the other two calls have spoken a lot about win-lose cricket, and that's what it should be in my view. But that's pretty much how we played anyway. We don't ever really draw. If we draw, it's by accident. We can't grind out a draw. We just don't seem to have it in us as a team.
Yeah.
So hopefully Steve will add that kind of feel to us a little bit.
I mean, it only happened once last year when Pip pretty much single-handedly battered out against Ambergate on his own. He must have faced 100 balls that day.
Well, he broke his toe first of all, didn't he? Because Borley smashed him with his big toe. And then I think because brother and Farnham were playing, he just wasn't getting in. Yeah. He just wasn't getting out that day, no matter what this is.
He could be batting now. They just weren't getting him out. They just never, ever get him out. And that's the sort of an inch you need sometimes in that format of game. I kind of agree. Like for the future of cricket, it needs to be win-lose cricket.
I mean, you play like Nick was saying the other day. You play to the rules that you're working with, so you will get teams doing that. And as a player, there's nothing more boring than when you know they're not going for it, and you've just wasted 3 hours in the field watching them blocked for 120. But yeah, it's a weird one. There's not many lads in the twos that really bat time. I mean, I can do it, but if I open, then it's a long time to bat 46 if you're doing that. And if I was going to do that, I'd bat myself at 7 just in case it went wrong. Wheatos bats time, gets to 50 and gets himself out, kicks a straight one every week. Other than that, no one really builds a long innings. You've got plenty of people that can accelerate the scoring, but not many that can just hang in there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good time to go on to Room 101 subject.
Okay.
The feature where you give me 3 things you hate or want to change about cricket, and I get to play God and decide whether that goes ahead or it goes in the bin. So your first offering.
So, like I said, a couple of the things that I was going to kind of put forward were taken and kind of debated already with Nick and with Cheech. So I've mixed up a little bit, although I do kind of return to something they probably picked up on for the last one. So the first one I've got is, and this is a team hatred, a personal hatred, just Wheatos won't appreciate this because he loves the place, but playing against Mayor Hay Thirds away at Muggington, that should just be stopped, be banned. As a club, it's been absolutely minging for us. So I actually went back and looked. We've been bowled out for 23. We've been bowled out for 147 when we were 10 for 4. But that was the day they won the league, when we'd been competing with them for it for most of the season. And then probably the worst one, we got 211, and I think Nobby got 60 and Jamie Kelly got 50 or something that day. And they knocked off 211 in 25.4 overs.
Yeah, I played that game.
Every time we've been up,
I think I took a catch that day. That was my last one as well, wasn't it?
But I think it's nothing against them as a team. They're a great bunch of lads. It's actually really fun playing against them on Meathers where it's actually a fair game. But up there, they just hammer us. I mean, I looked at my own stats. I averaged 6, so I'm not keen to go back there anytime soon. But yeah, it's just never been somewhere we've done well. So I'd quite happily never have to go and play there again.
Yeah, I mean, I've had very indifferent games at Muggington. I played friendly games there. I played against Muggington. Caught Matt Wheatcroft out second ball after dropping in first ball. Nicked off to me. I dropped it. Jacob Ward, who Tommy might know.
Okay. Tommy's mate, yeah.
And then bowled and nicked it off the next ball, and I managed to catch that one. That was quite a big relief. I think that was the year when Wheatos was scoring a lot of. I think he scored 150 the week before, and when I dropped him, I was like, Yeah, this is going to be a long day. Lucky nicked off the next.
Like I said, I think that might have been the year before he came back to Meadows because he got like 800 or 900 runs or something stupid from memory. The year after, because they didn't go up, he came back.
Yeah, it was 2000. It was the year we won the league because it was about the only game that season where anyone gave Lily in a game because we hammered everyone that year.
Yeah.
But I've also played up there and got a 60 odd against Duffield where Will Clare came running to bowl at me, bowled me a bouncer which was about 3 yards away from me, stared at me, and I proceeded to hit him back over dead 6 the next 4 balls, which was quite a good innings. Callum played that day for the second because he'd been doing Camp America.
Too many jokes there, I'll leave it.
And he flew back that morning from America, turned up to the game. Alex Burnham's captain there. I think I was captain that day actually. I got up to Alex before the game saying, Callum's on his way. He's not played cricket all year. He's been in America. He's going to be jet lagged anyway. Yeah. He's like, do you mind if he plays, even if he turns up after the 23rd over? He's like, yeah, no worries. Callum turns up in about the 26th over because he's stopped at home on the way. Like, not to come straight to the game, like, stopped off at home, turned up to the game, and then proceeded to get 90. When he did come into bat, Alex wasn't happy. Luckily, they beat us. They beat us that day. I felt very awkward if he did turn up.
Well, he must really struggle with Muggington then, because last year when we played there, he was meant to be batting 4, but he'd gone to Mayor Hayes Ground, so turned up late and ended up batting 6 or whatever. But the only positive I can think of that ground and playing there was he'd got 100 a couple of weeks before against Cromford. Yeah. He told us all that he was retiring at the end of the season. So because he's going to be his last game because he was on holiday, we gave him a guard of honour.
Yeah, the guard of honour, that was great. Yeah,
that was a highlight up there. But other than that, there's been nothing positive.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you. Not just on the fact that it's only some own microclimate up there.
There is.
Wheatos loses his story about being able to see Mel Morris's house, and the fact that Muggington is nowhere near Marehay either.
I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah, just on that, you can get in the bin.
Yeah. No. I'm happy with that.
He hasn't got a bar either.
No.
Really
poor changing rooms. Terrible changing rooms as well.
Yeah. But yeah. And the shower's terrible. But yeah, because I can get in the bin.
Amazing.
So your second offering?
It's as I've kind of alluded to already, second team batting collapses.
Yeah,
I'm just sick of them. I actually, because I thought you love a stat, so I thought I'd do some research like this afternoon when I was bored on a conference call at work. And in the 8 seasons I've played at Meadows, we've been bowled out for 100 or less in the twos 22 times. It's like 3 times a season, and that's just for when we're bowled out under 100. That's not counting when we're 70 for none and get bowled out for 130, or we're 120 for 1 and get bowled out for 150. There's been so many times, like 2018 it must have been. Of course it was, because we lost to everyone that year. But we bowled Shipley out for 140, 150 twice. And at their place, I know it rained and Brian Farnsworth wouldn't take us off and that kind of thing, but we were 60 for 1 and got bowled out for 74.
Yeah.
And then at home against them, me and Wheatos had put on 80-ish for the first wicket, and we didn't chase 150. We got bowled out 30 short. So we just, I don't know if we. It's annoying because the bowlers do such hard work. We field so well, and then our batting just goes to pieces, which is weird because on Meadows you should be a batting team. You should get used to it because every team apart from us takes advantage of their home ground. But what I have kind of noticed going back over the years and looking at who's done this to us or who we've collapsed against, it's normally teams that it's like a cup final coming and playing at Meadows. So when it happens at home, it's because it's like their big day out and they've got all the players because we're on a nice ground and it's a nice team and it's a nice place to play.
Hellholes and postage stamps.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like Cromford regularly beat us on Meadows. There's Beanie will turn up and he got 7 for 13 or something one year. Allsworth tend to have all their best players out because they're like a Jekyll and Hyde team. They've either got 6 players or they've got 16 and 4 of them are world beaters. So they've done this a few times. There's been so many over the years.
Appenol started doing it.
Started
turning up and doing it.
Yeah, Appenol away. I mean, really, I just think Appenol should be playing in the York League somewhere. It's that far away. It's like miles away. But yeah, it's teams like that seem to do us. If you play against one of the more established, I mean, to be fair, I kind of get it that the club I grew up at, Enderby down in Leicestershire, their ground, we made it our own. So that you had like rolling hills at one end. We had an overseas come across one year who got off the plane, ran to field the ball, and if you were local, you know it goes like this, and you kind of run across the top of the hills. Now he fell flat on his face 3 balls into the game because he had no idea that the ground wasn't going to be flat. So you make the most of it. Yeah, I mean, you make the most of it, but we don't seem to, and everyone just loves a day out on our ground. And to be fair, if you play in Div 8, Div 7, Div 6 cricket, you shouldn't really be playing on the same ground as Derbyshire 2. It is kind of...
We're very well treated.
Yeah, we are. I think sometimes some of the juniors that haven't played on Whitemoor or haven't played at other clubs kind of forget that a little bit, that this isn't normal to be playing on that kind of ground in that kind of setting. It's something you should probably think about a little bit more when you're playing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Absolutely agree. But yeah, I mean, I always allude back to Little Eton because obviously I played the bulk of my career there. And when I joined Meadows and experienced the batting collapses, I thought it was just Little Eton who did that. I thought it was Little Eton always used to love a good collapse of being 100 for 1 to being 120 all out. Chase 125. And then I played when one of my first games was Ilkeston. And
that was pretty bad.
When we were around for 30, 40, whatever it was, and how we got that sitter. But
you'll be glad you brought that up.
Yep. That was an incredible moment for cricket.
It really was.
Yeah. I think a blind person could have caught that without the bell in the ball.
But I think it's interesting watching. Obviously, Nick's like a class player, so is Cheech, and they played at very good levels of cricket. And even in our first team, it's like you've been a few times after Nick. It's hard work to keep up with them. So it's nice to kind of be talking about the more kind of amateur ridiculousness that you see in cricket as well. Like some of the stuff you see in the twos where people turn up late, they drop ridiculously easy catch, like all that kind of stuff that is as much club cricket as it is with the ones and being competitive and really.
And people think it's reserved for midweek cricket or bottom level cricket. I mean, it really, really isn't. Like it happens week in, week out in 6-0. Like
yeah, and the thing is as well, I know you were talking on one of the calls about the standard dropping. I definitely agree with you that what was, say, Division 3, Division 6, whatever you want to pick, is a lower standard now than it was 10, 15 years ago.
It's same with the junior standard. Like, junior cricket, like when we would have been 13s and 15s, especially under 15s, I think. 15s used to be a decent standard. You'd have
if you look at
2 or 3.
The Meadows team from that kind of age that have, well, I say the Meadows team, Duffield's first team plus a few kind of that are still here, but that group of lads and the level that they've all played at shows you how competitive it used to be to even get into a Meadows junior team, let alone to be a star in it. Just getting the team was hard work.
I mean, like our juniors are decent, especially our group of under 15s, where they've grown up and they've won everything growing up. And a few of them who can make decent cricketers. But you see some of the teams they play against, and you're like, we probably won't even ask you to play in the Sunday team because it'd be too hard for you, and they're the same age.
Yeah.
Like when I know like Louis is a little bit quick, but Louis as a bowler is what we used to face. It's the pace we used to face. Louis is like a throwback to what.
Well, if you think you've had Adam Wheatcroft at some point doing that. You've had Matt Wheatcroft doing that. Like over the years, there've been that many of them. When the likes of Cheech was playing, when Ball was playing, when Dave Whiteley, Rowie, whoever's been at the club over the years, they're all. It was. I mean, you talked to some of them. It was harder playing midweek cricket than it was on a Saturday, because you go and play a third team or a second team on a Saturday, and it was easier than the 2020 game you had midweek because the players just weren't as good. And I've definitely played in a few teams where I was batting 11 and making numbers in junior cricket over the years, because it was, I think, generally just a higher standard. Or maybe it was a football season, maybe it was other distractions, but there was definitely it was a lot tougher playing junior cricket than it seems to be these days.
Yeah.
Like I don't see in some. I mean, I've said this to Louis before. You see some of the teams they play against, and why he even has to bother bowling, I don't understand, because if he doesn't get 6 wickets in 6 balls, he's not doing his job.
Yeah, and he should have used that time to experiment to bowling at different points of the innings.
Yeah.
There's no point opening the bowling. Like, what's the point? Bring yourself on against 9, 10, 11. You guarantee 3 wickets then.
Get yourself 3 wickets, just wrap it up, and
Yeah, or bowl 1 over at the start, and then bowl 2 in the middle and bowl 1 at the end. Just learn to bowl in different phases of the game.
But we're saying about Louis, but you've also got James Bauer should be getting a load of wickets in that. Tom Walker should, like all of them. George with his spin, if he can be bothered to bowl, that should be doing that. And they should all be getting runs every week. I think I saw Noah get a few scores, but other than that, Alfie Kelly was the only one I can remember getting runs.
I've got a stat. I don't know if I've still got my trusty notebook. I don't know if it's still in here. When I had a go at them all at one point in the season. I don't think it's in here anymore. And if you combined all their averages, there it is. So this was taken. I can't remember after what game it was, but basically their high score was 58, which was Noah in the third team during the game, and then their 10 plus scores were 5. You have 5 plus 10 scores. This is in adult cricket. And in 58 innings out of all of them, they'd scored 236 runs. And there's like a team total of if it was a team total, like 178 runs with 57 wickets.
Oh, that's And the thing is, I remember when I was captain. Were they all George, or were there a few others in there as well? I remember it's hard when you're a junior coming in, because you're not used to that step up. And particularly when I was captain, we had the Sunday team still, but back then it was still a lot of the time the senior lads, because everyone's a bit younger and single, and would just turn up hung over on the Sunday and have a laugh. Like Chris would bowl his overs, everyone would bat wherever they felt like it. I'd have a bowl occasionally. It wasn't ever taken too seriously, but you brought some of them in, and there's been lads. I mean, Dill Garnett and Owen Patrick used to play a lot when I was captain.
Yeah.
Harry Chuen, Wycombe. I remember Scott Gadsby's first game for the twos at Ockbrook, I think, and everyone gives him stick now for not being able to hit it off the square. Well, back then he must have been 13, 14, and literally, like, there was nothing to him. It was like watching a stick cricket guy, and he'd swing as hard as he could. Like, it absolutely looked like he was nailing these cut shots, and they'd just trickle off the point every time. So it's hard, because in junior cricket, he's probably getting a run there.
Yeah.
So Adam Hardwick. So there's a lot of them that came through. It's kind of nice when you see him progress onto the first team as well. They should be coming through trying to take my spot, your spot.
Yeah.
But
unless
the first team, they're not ready. Yeah, other than coming out of retirement to play with William in my case, or with Rory for your case, I mean, quite happy going to retirement for 5 years and watch, and then come back.
I alluded to this in the conversation with Nick, is when Rory's old enough to play adult cricket, and that's assuming that he's big enough and strong enough or good enough to play it when he's under 13. I'm going to be 45. And I do, that is the one thing I've got in cricket now, like I alluded to then, I've won quite a few leagues. I've won a few cups, and I'm happy. I'm happy now. That the one thing I want to do now is play cricket with Rory. That's one season with him, And that's it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I might try and do a couple more seasons. I reckon I can keep my body going until I'm 50, so give me a couple of years. But literally, yeah, you're right. There's that. Assuming he wants to play cricket and all that kind of stuff as well. Shark doesn't get him into horse riding or something ridiculous. But that and scoring 100, because I've still not done that, and it annoys me every single time about that I've never done that. I only want one to say I've done it, and then if it wasn't for William, I'd probably quit at that point if I get there. But
in the scorebooks, I've got 2.
Yeah, but you had a funny accent that day, from what I remember.
Yeah, about well worth. But yeah,
I did like the fact when you took Nick, you outed yourself, so there'll be some bloke in the Mansfield District who's now hunting you down to take those runs off you.
Oh yeah. Fully accept that. I outed myself as playing under the legal name for Little Eaton for my first ever game as well. So I've probably got Chris Higginbomb after me again.
Yeah.
I say again.
Right.
Got no damn time.
Yeah. So Martin will look after you. Sure, he was playing.
Yeah, I've got a Steve now as well to back me up. So.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm untouchable now. That's what I'm going for.
That's right. They can ban you for this season. It won't matter.
Yeah, I might get a full season in this year, technically. But yeah,
broken wrists can go.
Second 11 batting collapses, they can get in the bin. Yeah, everything about the feeling about it happening just crap into. So your third and final offering.
You still there?
Yep, there we go. Fell for Wi-Fi though.
You're either sat very still or it froze. I'm not quite sure which.
Bit both. But yeah, your third and final offering.
Okay, so the third and final one's something slightly different. That's more of a change rather than something to necessarily wholesale get rid of.
Okay.
But I was going to put about you should make it a sensible number of overs, so 45 or 50, and every bowler should bowl equal amounts and maybe colour clothing or that kind of thing. So that kind of got me thinking. What I think the league should do is make each division smaller. So maybe only have 8 teams, and then you can play a 14-game season of Red Bull, 45, 46, whatever, over cricket.
Yeah. And
then you've got 6 to 8 free Saturdays where you can play Saturday 2020 cricket as well.
Yeah.
Because what you'll find with a lot of lads is they don't want to play double headers and play both days on the weekend. Saturday just generally is a better day for playing cricket. Everyone's got families and other things to do on Sunday. So you could get 3 games in a day. I've not sat and done the logistics of quite how it'd work, but I reckon with 8 teams in a league in 8 weekends, you could probably get through the games. All promotion relegation is based on your red ball or your proper cricket performance, but there's some sort of trophy. So you've kind of got 2 trophies you're playing for. You could still have the cups. I'd probably make the cup a 50 over again rather than 2020 if you're doing the league, but you could even maybe do without them if you were going to mix it up like that. Just so you, like the conversation you had with Nick and with Chris about it's white ball cricket's the future for the game for a lot of the younger lads, but you don't want to lose that. So actually you could bring more juniors in to play for your 2020 games on a Saturday. You could mix it up a bit. All the lads that get it in the net because they can't play every week, they've actually got some weekends where they could choose not to, potentially. So it just make it a bit different. And I know, obviously, in Australia, they play mixed format. I think down south, there's a few leagues where they play some games over 2 days, some games of red ball, some games of white ball, all that kind of stuff. So it'd kind of be the best of both worlds. And you're playing cricket on a Saturday afternoon, which is when everyone wants to be playing.
Yeah.
Like, even with the third team, they don't want to go and play Sundays. They sometimes do for the better grounds, but they want to play cricket on a Saturday. That's why you play league cricket, to play Saturdays. So
definitely.
I think that's a way that they could.
Yeah, it's only the Dobsons and Chollers who really want to play on Sundays. Like, but yeah, I agree. Like, I think future of the game is white ball cricket. I think as much as that pains me to say, I prefer red ball cricket. I think you do more of it. I think it's harder to face a red ball than it is a white ball. But I think they do need to do something along those lines. I think a lot of divisions play the mixed format cricket. Obviously, Nick plays it in Australia. I think I don't get the Derbyshire League. I don't get the Derbyshire League 46. I don't get 46 overs. It's like they sat in a meeting and someone's gone, I want to play 40 overs. I want to play 45 overs. I want to play 50 overs. And they've gone, right, we'll go 46.
I tell you where
we don't want him
to be the days when you could bowl 23 straight through. It'll be small boy, but you could bowl 28. It'll be Calvin when he used to bowl 23 from one end. And his mate at the other end had complained that he could only bowl 22 and it wasn't fair. So they've made it 46, so it's the same both ends. But you're right, it's pointless.
Yeah.
And having basically 3 bowlers in the innings is daft as well. If you want to develop players, and it might mean, in fairness, it might mean clubs need to have less teams, or there need to be less teams generally.
Is it not the argument, though? Do you need any more than 3 teams?
Well, this is slightly counterproductive because obviously we've got 3 teams and they're on different sides. But my argument would be you can have 2 teams per pitch. Obviously, that works. But you've got to have your pitches on the same site. So the likes of Spondon, Ockbrook, A&B, etc., Denby, they'd still have the advantage they've got for the facilities they've got. But you're a separate club. And I know that gets discussed a lot. But you get why the lads, if they finish on Whitemoor, they'll go see the mates in the ground rather than come back down to Meadows where we're all in the shower. I get why it kind of works like that. And I know we'd love to have the field opposite to have a second pitch down at Meadows. So, but I feel like that's the way it should work. So you are all together. You can watch your mates play in every team on a Saturday afternoon and things like that.
Yeah, I agree. It's disappointing that we can't get that second pitch down at our ground. I think that would kind of complete the ground.
Yeah. I think it's.
You could train on that ground as well. You don't have to ruin it. You don't have to ruin an end on the main pitch. You can just use like the 13th wicket to practice on.
Yeah, I think the thing with it as well. Yes, it'd mean there'd perhaps be less people involved at Meadows if we only had 2 teams, which isn't great. But actually looking bigger at the wider sport, if that meant Little Eton is still going, or who's just met Ashover and Chesterfield Barbarians have just met, if you had more individual clubs still, because people don't gravitate to 3 or 4 kind of bigger clubs or super clubs.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like
everybody better for the game.
I come from a very small club, and I've seen clubs. I mean, I was looking at a handbook not that long ago from one of the first seasons I played league cricket, and there's a good 10, 15 teams that just aren't in existence anymore. Which is sad. Because I've been there. I've played 13 years for Little Eton, 13, 14 years, and where you play majority of ground, it's not there anymore. Like Stainsbury play on the ground, but it's not Little Eton. They don't.
No.
They see Little Eton as we see Whitemoor. It's like a rented pitch. That's what. There's no like affection to the ground. Like.
Well, no, it's literally a space to play cricket. It's not your ground. It's not something you actually want to look after or check.
Yeah, they're not worried about the history of the ground or what it means to Little Eton to have a cricket team playing down there.
I think looking slightly less selfishly. Because the thing is, I know you spoke to Chris about Spondon are the model. The way they do things is pretty well done. It really impressed me when we played there last year. I think it's the first time I played there against Spondon. I played in the cup final that we lost when Coxie had his really short trousers on.
Yeah, I got dropped. I played every round of that thing and got dropped for the final.
But mate, you probably should have my spot. So I've been trying to drop myself in 2020 games since they started. It doesn't suit my batting style at all. So I'm there as a fielder. So
gone through all the emotions of the games at Mary in the semi-final and get dropped for the final. What's that about?
I wasn't captain for that one, so I can side with you.
Gutted. I ran it through with Weetos. That's how much effort I put into that game. Wasn't even on strike.
I'll say, so you ran 6 and you pushed in for 3. Is that what happened?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, but you look at the Spondon model, and it works well, and it's a decent setup, and that's kind of what we probably aspire to be. But without having it on the same site, I don't think you ever get there. And you look at the clubs that do make it work, and okay, there's some that get accused of hoovering up players and things like that, but they're all in one place. And the fact you've got a Nick or overseas or whoever in your first team, then genuinely does help the whole club.
Yeah. I've got Paul Allen on in a later episode, recording on Sunday. It'll be interesting to hear his views to see how far we are away from being under that kind of model. Looks like we're going towards that model. I think we got to. I think any cricket club looking to be successful, not only on the pitch but as a business, have got to follow that Spondon route. They're not just successful on a pitch; they're successful on the pitch, off the pitch. Sorry. You look at like how much money they take in through people hiring out the pavilion, and the events will get put on at Spondon. They're doing very well there. The whole social media, it just looks professional. Everything about them looks professional.
Well, the thing that really got me when we played there is finished our game on the second pitch. It was quite a close game. The way they use their fourth team is quite good, actually, that they'll fill it with juniors who get a chance, and then you've got 3 or 4 older boys that just make sure, a bit like you said about Fish being streetwise and just making sure it's run properly.
Yeah.
So I think both times against it was close, and then I can't remember his name, but some lad who obviously played at a higher level comes in about 7 or 8 and just gets in the 50 or 60 quickly to make sure they win the game. Yeah. So they're always competitive. They've got that to back it up. But you've got young lads that are allowed to go out and open the batting, and if he bats to 20 overs and 10 runs, it's not a problem. Yeah. So it's quite a different way. And okay, when you've got 4 teams, you can be a bit more flexible like that. But after the game, without a word being said, all these juniors ran off, covers were done, boundary markers in, whatever jobs needed doing were done. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's different to what I'm used to down at Mithers. And then I can't remember if it was their first or second team on the top pitch, but exactly the same thing happened after that game. They shook hands, and then before anyone went to get changed for a bit, every player on the team ran off and did the job. Yeah. And that's the kind of ethos I think that we're still lacking a little bit. We're getting better, but it's still, when it rains, you can't find lads through the covers and stuff.
It's getting it through to everybody in the team that day that they're not above anybody, that they've got to them. But if they get given if we get a task board in the change room saying these are your jobs today, I think it helps.
Yeah, and the thing is, there's not that much to do. Like you're probably struggling. Yeah, at Mithers, you're probably struggling to find 11 jobs. In fairness,
even second team, we don't use boundary the 30-yard circle. There's none of them to take in. It's just turning the scoreboard off. That's about it.
Yeah, pretty much. And whatever you need to do with the covers that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like everyone's alert to the rain. That if it rains during the game, there's nothing worse. And okay, sometimes as a captain, you might strategically let the wicket get a little bit wet. But you're fielding, you're at home, you know the covers are your job, and half your team run inside with the batsman. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just getting it. It's just building that ethos into everyone does the same job, basically. Everyone.
But I think the good thing now, and what's probably slightly different than when me and Chris were kind of trying to do similar things a few years ago, I think there's a lot more buy-in from the committee. Fairey's a lot more kind of bought into doing things the right way, and having someone like Paul in place to kind of kick ass when he needs to as well.
Yeah.
But a lot more of the senior players are buying into it this time around, I think. So I think before it was maybe 50-50, and you could kind of try and wing it and get away with not kind of buying in. Whereas now it's kind of 80% of people are bought into it, so everyone else gets dragged along.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're a million miles away. I think this year there was going to be a big change in that sort of department. I know Jamie had big plans. I know Paul Allen was very much behind it. it's a shame that we're not really going to play that much. So if we can get that sort of thing in this season, like the 6-7 games we might end up playing, it'll build a lot better for next year.
Yeah, you're frozen again, mate. Yeah, that'd be the thing. If we get 7 games in this season or whatever it might be, do the right things for those 7 games so everyone gets used to it.
Yeah,
and that's regardless of the results. It's not if we do play, it's not going to be for promotion or whatever. So focus on doing the right things and then be ready for next year.
Yeah. But your idea of playing 14 game red ball and alternative white ball season at the same time is, I think it's something something they could look to trial. I think something along those lines, definitely like the mixed format, definitely.
Is that 3 out of 3?
That's 3 out of 3. I mean, everyone's had 3 out of 3. Everyone's had 3 out of 3 so far. Can't wait to turn somebody down.
No, you're just too easy on letting sub in then or out.
I disagree with them all. I just hate.
I spoke to Chris earlier, and I think everyone just has the same ideas on certain things, like the whole points.
Nobody gets to 46 overs. That's
no.
I think if it would have been playing 50 overs already, I think nobody has anything to talk about. But
no, I think you have to be a little bit sensible that if you went, I don't know, Prem to Div 2 was 50, Div 2 to Div 6 or 7 was 45, and then the last few were 40. So you can actually ease, especially juniors that will start at the bottom, ease them inside of cricket. Because I mean, 46 overs or 92 in the day is a long time.
It is a very long time.
Particularly if you're 13, 14 coming into it, and we're not always the best. We've been better, but not always the best that you're going to be doing something. Sometimes you do just, I mean, back when we were kids, we'd just be like if you're playing. So, I mean, I used to then play first team as a fielder and then bat 11, and then actually you might do all right 1 week, so you actually got a chance to bat when you went back down to the second team and stuff. But it's a long time if you're not doing anything, particularly in junior cricket where you tend to bat and bowl a lot of them in every game, and it's a lot quicker. So
I think in an ideal world that they'd all be in the third team. Like you came to junior, you started in the third team where
we've not quite got the numbers
7 or 8 other juniors.
Only take 2 a week. Yeah, I think from what I can tell you, particularly when they go up to the ones, because that's, particularly if you're ambitious as a kid, that's decent enough to standard to be playing at 15. They all seem to enjoy the adult cricket when you're involved in doing something. It's the keeping them engaged in the field, which is the tricky part.
Yeah, absolutely. But all 3 of your suggestions, they can all get in the bin.
Cool, I'm happy with that.
Every question I can ask at the end is, what are your aspirations for Meadows? Where do you want to see Meadows as a club in the next 5 years?
What I not that I'll have a huge impact on this, but I think it was Clifton got to the Prem. I think they got battered when they got there, but they got there without paying anyone and mainly doing it with lads that they'd kind of brought on themselves. I think that's the kind of thing you want to be looking at. You might not get to Prem, you might only get to Div 1, but if you're a club that's in 1, 4, 6 and 8 or something like that, so kind of stagger through the leagues, and if you got up to 4 teams, but a couple of divisions between each team, I think is where we need to be at. The 2s have probably got some catching up to do with the 1s, but I think if we had not messed up last season and been playing a league high this year, I don't think we were ready for it. If you look at whenever we play damages, sorry to mention, but whenever we play damages in the last few years, they've battered us. Even when we've had a strong team out, they've battered us, and they're kind of mid-table in 5. So we need a stronger second team, but we know we're not far off at least getting there because we know we can challenge. And
definitely.
You see it a lot of the time that some of the leagues, like, I'm not saying this, but 5 can be strong in 4 because if you get a glut of teams that are strong in there, only 2 go out of it each year. So 5, then see where you're at. But you don't. have brown envelopes everywhere will be doing ridiculous things to pay people, because it's amateur cricket at the end of the day. Either you all pay your subs. A bit different if you're an overseas and you waive the tenner, but fair enough. You're 10,000 miles from home and all that kind of thing. And basically put to work as labour as well. You have to do a lot of stuff while you're over here that's unpaid. So, yeah, every couple of years, each team gets promoted. Just see how far it takes you, basically.
Yeah, that's the plan.
What about yours? You must have a view on this. What do you think we should do?
I don't think we're too far away from what we want to be with. I agree. I think Division 1 is a good level to try and get to with the current core of players. I think the two signings, what we brought in this year, Shelley and Lidsley, they look like they're going to be class acts for us. I think you got to look at getting Division 1, 4, and 6, maybe 7 for the third team. It's getting more closer. I mean, obviously, I've been coach at the juniors this year, and you do want to see them playing at the highest level you can. You try and improve the junior setup, try and get as many players as you can. Just staying in cricket is that's hard. First problem. You want everyone who comes through your junior setup to stay playing cricket. Obviously, it doesn't. You get to that 15, 16-year-old age, and you lose a good 50%, don't you, of the players that when they're not made to go by the parents anymore.
It's that, but it's what your mates are doing as well. Like the club I used to be at was I was a bit younger than the kind of core group, but they're all mates about the same age. Then they're like kids about the same time. So then, a bit like we're talking about us, you kind of stick together because of that. So you end up with, okay, at some point we become the third team and younger lads take over, and then the ones become the twos and that kind of thing. But you want that kind of constant progression that really, in let's say 3 years' time, me and Weetos have probably been the top run scorers for the twos for the last 4 seasons.
Yeah.
We shouldn't even be playing. There should be young lads coming through and taking our spots. That's what you want to aim for.
Yeah.
And the same with, like, Louis gone up to the first team. You want a Tom Walker or I don't know, someone English and someone local from Belfast to go and get the runs that Nick gets, for example. So that's what you kind of want coming through.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if they're doing it with lads that they've grown up with, they'll stick and see it through rather than disappear off somewhere.
You want to get to a point where the juniors are playing for us aren't being told to go to other clubs.
That's what you want to be.
That first team aren't in a high enough standard, or our junior setup's not at a good enough level. You kind of. I mean, I hate the poaching of juniors. I think it's very unnecessary. Unless they're first team playing Division 8 and 9, they can't really progress up. Okay. If your first team is playing Division 2 cricket, and your second team playing
there's a clear pathway to go through.
9, why are you telling these kids to go and move up and play at a different club who are playing in the same level? Doesn't make any sense. I'd love to get to a point where someone goes, yeah, you need to go and play for Belfast Meadows.
That's a good shout.
You'd hope we'd turn them down, like, don't go poaching them, and they come and they approach us rather than us going to them. Like,
I'm trying to think. Last person I can think of that did that because they weren't happy where they were. Owen Bowley. Yeah. He was at Shipley. I remember playing against him when he was kind of 15, 16, I guess. And I assume must have been around the Derbyshire setup, or at least been given trials and stuff at that point. Because you're a lot quicker as a bowler back then, and a bit more aggressive as a batsman. He's got boring as he's grown up. But he actually came. I think it was like a Butley Cup game or something, or maybe it was a Saturday. And his dad turned up, and it kind of like we knew who he was, or we knew his dad anyway. We're like, what are they doing here? Went, I'm not getting a look at Shipley. I want to play as hard as I can. I want to play first team. I'm happy to start out and kind of work my way up and see how it goes. And that's how he kind of came to the club. Yeah. So you want more of that, really. Although Owen was kind of probably 20 by that point, but you want them to come and say, yeah, I want to I want to join what you're doing. Which I think, from what I've been told from the Shelley and Lidsey, that's kind of part of the reason they're here, because of that kind of approach. So,
yeah, they're brought into our like more professional outlook on things like employing a coach. Like Paul Allen's obviously a fantastic coach. Does have a good influence. But like I say, like the whole training kits and the ground, it's always going to be a selling point. So if we can keep that,
true.
If we can keep that professional standard up, there's no reason why we can't be a Division 1 club in the next 5 years, because you'll start getting noticed. Like, we're winning cups, we're winning leagues. People want to join now. You just don't want someone to come like, oh, I'd love to join you. How much are you going to pay me? Like, well, you're bang average, mate. I'm not going to pay. I'm not going to pay anything. There's so many bang average cricketers out there who are getting the brown envelopes.
Well, that's the thing that I remember. I think it must have been the year I joined, and Brookie had got, and this was not long after. Part of the problem with Meadows was that they used to pay too many people, and it wasn't the right thing to do for the club, I don't think.
Yeah.
But Brookie had a lad come up from Leicester, who I don't know who he'd spoken to. Said, "Oh yeah, he'll come up from Leicester every week to play for you." This was in Div 6, and we watched him net, and he was clearly talented. Third ball, he tried to scoop DK or someone, which is ridiculous. He'd absolutely crunched it. He got miles. Yeah. But you go, well, we don't want to get out of 6 by paying someone to basically be a one-man team. That's not what we're about. The lads that had stayed at that point had stayed because it was their club. So
that's what happened with Pilsner. That happened with Pilsner, didn't they? They started Bin Nazir, got up for a couple of divisions. Then he left, and they realised they weren't good enough for that division. So they didn't have.
Yeah, because there was Bin Nazir and Chris Worthy. They went to Chesterfield.
Yeah.
Wonderworthy's anyway. And that was their batting lineup, and that was kind of guaranteed. Well, Bin Nazir probably got 1,500 runs in his own, and Worthy getting 1,000.
Yeah.
And they went downhill. But they're a club now. If you look at Pilsley, they've got, I think they've only got one team. They've got a connection. Maybe we play cross work.
They've merged with them. They've had the pavilion done up and that though.
The pavilion's nice, but as a team, they've got what's the skipper called, Tristan. They've got him. They've got a couple of Worthies and a couple of other lads. If any of them lose interest or go somewhere else, they're probably a club that holds quite good. Yeah, Tristan's a really good player. That's Sam Bowles. Never gets me out either. I like playing against Pilsner. But there's so many little clubs like that you want to keep going rather than have or you deliberately go, let's have 10 super clubs and really make a thing of it. But that kind of isn't the way cricket's done in this country.
Yeah. Yeah, that goes down like the 100-ball cricket route, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think I might be wrong on this, but some parts of Australia, they've got 8-10 super clubs and they play at various grades and that kind of stuff. But it can work if you've got the space. It tends to be they've got 6 grounds in the same place, so it's still a club. Whereas, I hadn't even thought about the distance between Marehay and Muggington. Although, in fairness, knowing some of those Marehay lads from playing against them so much over the years, I think go back for a bit no matter what. But it's
Marehay Birds used to play at Mark Eaton Park, so at least it's a bit of an upgrade.
Yeah, true. That's very true.
Yeah, my second game for Lil Ian was against Marehay at Mark Eaton Park, so I got my first wickets for him, and I was bouncing people that day, and I'm only 5'5", and I was whipping because it was just fun trying to take people's heads off. That's back when I was pretty quick.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was trying to hurt people on Mark Eaton. That was quite funny, that was. But yeah, but thanks for joining us today. It's been a good chat. I offer everyone the opportunity at the end of the programme to abuse who you want. If anyone's watching by this point, you can abuse who you want.
No, I don't think there's any need to abuse anyone. That's not what I'm about. Is Nobby signed up to one of these? Just out of interest.
No, he doesn't want to do it. I spoke to him for about 20 minutes last night on the phone. I offered him the opportunity. He said no, because I won't be allowed to talk about Ambigate. I was like, talk about it, maybe one. start a petition to get Nobby on.
I was going to say, as much as I wouldn't want to hear too much about Ambergate, he's actually played. He's one of the few lads in the club that's played for a very long time. So, like when he started out as 15, he's actually completely different. I mean, we're saying it's different from when we were. He's got another 10 years on both of us. So it's actually quite interesting to see how he thinks it's changed over the last 30 years rather than 20.
I'd like to get him on.
He can mention Ambergate if he wants to.
I'd like to get Steve on. Obviously he's played.
Yeah, that's good as well.
A long time. Pip might be. He's got a few stories to tell. And
I don't know if you could get him to do it. What about Calvin? He'd be good value.
Yeah. Hopefully, when we get outdoor again, I can just do a sit down interview with him rather than have to do it this way.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Did you see the one that I think Jeff, Trev, and a couple of others, those 4 old boys just lined up? Don't make it that weird because that was just a bit strange.
Yeah,
but
they're on the YouTube channel. If people go on the YouTube channel, they're saved in the playlist. Yeah, there's him, Gordon, Trev, a couple of others in there. Yeah, it's quite an interesting chat actually. What they have. If you've got.
Yeah, I think, and it's. I mean,
if you're watching these videos, you may as well watch those videos as well. They're about as long.
Well, the thing is, I'll watch those ones tomorrow because I can't sit and watch myself, can I, when I'm at work? So I'll sit and watch those ones tomorrow. But I think it'd be. I mean, I'm slightly older, but me, Chris, and Nick are all of a fairly similar generation. Yourself as well.
Yeah.
It'd be really interesting to get an actual completely different perspective on it.
Joe Hurst wants to come on it, so we've got a younger person's perspective.
Okay, yeah, that's different views on things.
I'd like to chat to Shelley and Lindsay. Chris Sheldon wants to do it because obviously coming from being new players, I'd like to hear their perspective on what we're about. Yeah, a few of the older boys. A few of the older boys. I'd like to get them on. I'm getting pretty booked up, so.
Yeah, I've got to say, a few of us might get an absolute slating by Jeff, but it'd be worth it. It'd be entertaining.
Yeah, I've got Fairy tomorrow. Fairy's being recorded tomorrow. Then Nick and Coops on Friday, shower time special.
Are you going to be in the showers though? That's the question.
Nick is going to be in the shower. I think Nick's in the shower. And then we've got Chollas on Saturday. And then we've got a double recording. We've got Paul Allen and Boise on Sunday.
Man, decent.
So we've got some good views coming in. So.
Yeah, get too many more people involved and start getting competitive about who gets viewed the most as well. Yeah.
Nick's winning by quite a bit at the moment.
I mean, he should win. In fairness,
it's just my job now to make funny titles for each videos.
I wish I'd realised that. I started saying ridiculous things halfway through a sentence just so you could capture it.
I've got yours.
Have you?
The episode of this title is James and the Giant Peach. That's what your title is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I think boys might just be Mr. Angry. Yeah, I'll stop the recording. So chat shit about people. But thanks for joining. Hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's alright. Good chat. That it's quite enjoyable.